Ladies and gentlemen, the News and Brews set is happy to welcome very special guests. Here now, anchor Tiki Felix.
Absolutely. Today is one of those days that we have a groundbreaking announcement. And not only am I happy to be here hosting today the News and Brews at the IME West, but I'm very excited about sharing with you something that has no precedence, something that might make a difference, a huge difference, and maybe a blueprint for the health, for the arena of everybody's health. I think it's important to mention that events like today really merit the collaboration and the brain from so many companies that will share with us what the message is across. So first of all, I'm going to be introducing our guests, and then we're going to go to talk about this collaboration. It's 5 industry-leading companies. We're going to start with Jeff Sauter, Director of Business Development. Thank you for being with us. We have Roy Morgan, President and CEO of Eagle Medical. Nora Cribello, President and CEO of Westpac. Nora, thank you for being with us. Dr. Daniel Radilov, Director of Business Development, Pacific Biolabs. Thank you for being with us, Doctor. And Brand Guard, Manager of Blue Line Chemical Sterilization. I'm going to ask you to keep your microphone closer to your mouth whenever we're speaking. That way we can get the point across. All right, let's start. Roy.
Hi, thanks for having us.
What's happening? I want to find out what is the vision shared, or the shared vision, I should say, with this collaboration, and where did it come from?
So, Taziki, in our industry, navigating the myriad companies, the myriad services, and all of the regulations and testing that has to happen to bring a device to market, that's really hard. And if you're in this industry and you're new to it, walking in that front door upstairs, it's like an ocean of lights and signs, and you want to find the start square on the game board. Where do I start? How do I get this done, right? How do I make it happen? Well, the vision of this device alliance is to give you the game board, show you the start square, show you the way around the board from start to finish, which is product realization, all the way to market launch.
The map to a labyrinth, and of course it is a labyrinth. We're talking about such a sophisticated system of health, of biotech, and medical devices that really mean a difference to all of us. Dr. Daniel, for you, how important it is to make sure that we measure success with a collaboration like this, and what are the main goals doing so?
Yeah, I think obviously having a roadmap for each organization to play its pivotal part in the process is one of the main things. So each one of us obviously has our own expertise. So obviously getting the client from one point to the other through this process is kind of, I think, the main objective for all the companies involved in understanding where we need to plug a specific partner in during that process.
Nora, I understand this is the first time that this is happening. Congratulations. I'm very happy to see this going forward, right, with a measure of success. Now, how do you expect to make sure that the goals that you have already found are actually achieved? And going forward, what do you expect specifically, let's say, in the next few years?
It's a good question. And I think that one of the most important values that ties all of our companies together is our focus on customer experience. It has to be the priority for all of us. So that's one of the things that binds us together. And to answer your question, the constant iteration and improvement of our group, that's going to be how we find the success and hit our goals. We have to make sure that the customers are having the best experience possible. We're raising their experience along the way to get them to market faster.
Give me a couple of examples. We're talking about people that are watching this and they want to find out, okay, great, this sounds like a great news, groundbreaking move for the industry. What's in it for them? What examples can you provide so people can understand the impact, positive, for all of them? And you can also answer, Roy.
Sure. So I think, I'll start. I think the biggest positive impact that the WCDA can offer development folk out in the device space is a clear-sighted view of where am I starting? Where am I in the development process? I'm at the prototype level. Have I completed phase 1? Am I mid-phase 2? Do I need to start assessing how am I going to design my packaging? What's my sterilization modality? How does that affect my materials? Do I have fasteners and adhesives in my device? If all of those things are present and I already have an idea of what they are, I can reach out through our collective organization to find out the impact at each level, not just from how I'm going to sterilize, how I'm going to assess biocompatibility, but how I'm going to test and eventually, potentially, package, ship, and achieve market success.
I love that. That puts everything in perspective. Brent, why is this important for the industry, in your point of view?
Well, as
We can hear you.
am I on?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. As Roy was saying earlier, and Nora, there are a multitude of possibilities for where to start, what to choose, what vendors to choose to go forward in the best way possible. We are a group of companies that have worked together now for decades and are all comfortable with each other and know that that when we hand somebody off, or recommend that a customer go to one of our partners here, that they will get the best service that they can, and we will make the path as simple and clear as possible, going from start to finish.
I like that. Simple and clear. At the end of the day, this is what it's all about. Innovation, advancement, and making things just the most transparent for the rest of us. Now, Jeff, what are the ethical considerations that will guide this collaboration going forward?
Well, it's all about keeping the end in mind. And with all of our services combined, we basically cover the whole ecosystem from product conception through commercialization. And all of our companies represent the gold standard of what we provide, and bringing our customers, potential customers, and helping them understand what they need to plan on. A lot of times with medical device manufacturing, a lot of considerations are not taken into account in the early stage. And by not taking vital aspects of product design through commercialization, for example, with what we do with sterilization, not keeping the end in mind and failing to do so could have gigantic repercussions to manufacturers. So our intent is to guide our customers in the right direction.
I love that. Keeping the end in mind.
Yes.
What do you think are the biggest challenges that you will have to overcome going forward?
Well, there's basic precepts within the medical device industry. The most amazing devices are developed and delivered into the hospital organizations for the patient care. But within medical devices, they're developing the most innovative devices in any industry. But within these companies, they have preconceived ideas on how they should do things. And thinking outside the box helps drive innovation within the organization that they don't know is there, because medical device companies are very conservative insofar as decisions. They don't want to make waves. We are on the cutting edge of all of our technologies that we represent. So,
Great points.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I would add that one of the things that our organization will help the customer base out there with is focusing on readiness. Readiness is a really big deal, because showing up at the front door of a contract manufacturing organization, a packaging test house, or a sterilization test house, if you're not prepared, right, if you don't understand the requirements of what you have to do, that can leave you in the lurch because of a lot of back and forth information transfer that has to happen. Part of what we're doing is elevating that knowledge and know-how of how to get ready as a customer base. By improving readiness out there, it will make the total experience much more effortless. That's really one of the big objectives too.
And we're also talking about leveraging technology, innovation, and of course, this is a trade show to make this announcement. Nora, do you see this going forward an easy journey, what do you think are going to be the most important triggers? Because, of course, we're going to be speeding things up when it comes to the packaging and everything. You guys have known each other, from what I can understand. You work together for a long time. That doesn't necessarily make things easy when you're starting something new. Tell me your perspective.
No, that's a good point. And I think the most important thing is improving the experience from our customer to get from their initial concept to market. So right now, we're all basically adjacent on their supply chain. We're all similar focus, similar values, similar size. And so it makes sense, instead of the customer going from step to step to step, and each time having to answer all those questions, see if I'm ready, what's the next step, who's the next vendor, collaborate from the start. So when they're at step one, we all get us together in the same room, the same conference call, and just walk them through the process. Here's today, here's a year from now, here's the steps, here's making sure that we're seeing those speed bumps in the future and addressing them early and often so that we can get them to market faster.
Dr. Daniel, how would you mitigate any unforeseeable situations going forward as a team? Because, of course, the communication, being on the same page is important, but we're talking about cutting-edge technology. We're talking about medical devices, packaging, that at the end of the day, they can save a life, or maybe we can lose one.
Yeah, I get the tough questions here. So, yeah, risk mitigation, obviously looping in the experts in a particular area ahead of things. So obviously we don't know, each one of us in our companies, we don't know everything in the process from getting an idea to the market. So, you know, risk mitigation is, if there's not something that we know, we reach out to one of our partners for their advice and addressing those issues that they may have dealt with before. So we do the testing.
Which we've been doing for a long time anyways.
Right. So if Nora has a client that needs something done, you know, let's say a specific test for packaging, she'll come to us and say, what do you suggest? What do we need to do? Loop our experts in to give them advice. So I think it's just leveraging our expertise for each group that we have, and having free communication and discussing that to help, obviously, at the end of the day, help our client is our main objective.
And help our patients at the end of the day, which are the ones that are important.
Yeah, absolutely. A crystal clear example of that just happened I think 3 weeks ago, where we had a sterilization validation going on, and Pacific Biolabs was doing the testing. We had a positive in that testing process, and the ability to work together quickly to iterate through that, to guide the customer in what are the right steps you need to take in order to make the corrections along the way quickly to get you back on track through that commercialization process. It's absolutely crucial to maintaining a cost-effective development program and getting to the finish line as timely as possible.
And at the end of the day, that will be making a difference when the time comes for the patients to receive what they need in the products.
Absolutely. It's all about delivering the life-changing technologies to market in a sterile manner with assuredness for that patient outcome.
Now, Jeff, this just started. I'm glad to hear that you guys have been working for a long time together. I like that. And so you have the foundation. However, this is just the beginning. What do you expect, or what do you envision is going to happen with this? Do you expect more companies to come together and maybe make things faster in the medical arena? What's your perspective on this?
Well, having this kind of coalition with like-minded companies, this is just the beginning. Right now, we're representing a regional geography, namely the Western United States. Where I see this going is that this is going to spread throughout the United States, first of all, and has the potential to go international, because we have the expertise. Everything that we do is under universal standards that apply throughout the world, and what we provide can apply to any geography in any region where there's med tech and innovation.
Brent, your thoughts on this going forward with this coalition and alliance, and you being one of them, what makes you most excited, hopeful about it?
Well, one of the big things that we're doing is making sure that we have the information available to our customers that will help lead them to the next step in the process. We are identifying the things that each of us needs and actually documenting them so that we can provide them to the customers. And so that as we, as a company who don't have the expertise with with our collaborators here, can bring this checklist in of what is going to be needed going down the road, and which will help speed them, help them get ready earlier, ultimately shorten their time to market, and with quality products.
You made a good point on the information aspect. Roy, how would you be able to get all this data from the patients, from the audience, from everybody out there to make sure that this alliance makes the most and capitalizes on the opportunity to save more lives?
Great question, Tatiki. And I think one of the innovations that we're going to bring to the marketplace is intelligent information transfer. It's so that when we begin a project, right, the downstream organizations already know it's coming. They already know its requirements. In other words, the organization as a whole pipeline is ready and is capable to take on that project with its specific, some might call them idiosyncratic, components, but we're ready for them. We understand them. We know how we're going to deal with them. Maybe there's a very specific simulation we have to run in package testing. Maybe there's a very specific set of configurations that are required through sterilization, right? There might be special materials that are new that require new biologic or compatibility testing. But we've informed ourselves about that specific customer's needs, so we are ready.
Did you see any specific areas of need that became the trigger to talk to your colleagues and tell them we need to do this today?
There are many, I think, but I'll
Give
focus,
us the most important example.
I'll focus on one, and that is the ability to foresee the sort of potholes or treacherous components of device pathway development, and the ability to perform iterative studies, tests, or experiments within that development pathway that, if done haphazardly, can lead to extended timelines and extended cost. By working with this alliance, we've seen countless products come through our systems. We understand certain types of device failure, packaging failure, and sterilization modality failure. That knowledge, that deep and vast library of information is what we want to provide the customer base's ability to tap into ahead of time, so that they can be better informed to get through from end to end.
I'd like to ask you that question, the one that I asked Brent, Nora. As a woman, our perspectives are always family, right? We're always thinking about the aspect of making sure that people around us are safe as well. You, being part of this alliance, what do you foresee is going to be not just the impact of the patients or the clients, as Roy was mentioning, but going forward with the health aspect for a lot of people? What is your point of view on that?
It's funny, being the packaging nerds and the nerds that get products to market, medical device products to market, I think we all have the same story of, a family member who had a surgery, and we asked the doctor what product they used or what the serial number was, and people don't normally ask that, but that's just our mindset, knowing like, oh, I did the validation work on that. I know it's safe. I know they'll be fine. But I think looking at how innovative medical devices right now, where things are moving so fast on the biologic side, the biotech side, the device side. It's so exciting and frankly a privilege to be part of this huge supply chain that can prevent illnesses, that can prolong life, that keep our family and our kids safe. And I think we all share that perspective as family members. I think we're all parents up here. So it's just a privilege to be part of this ginormous supply chain.
I love what you just said right now. Between you guys, of course, right? I would think the same way, because as a journalist, we speak in a different language when it comes to getting certain press releases or the points that you want to make to the media. But in your area, which is medical, which is making sure that the trusted devices will make a difference, it's interesting to hear how you see things and how you want to take care of the family and make sure that they work. So I think it's an amazing thing that you guys are doing this collaboration to actually unite strengths to make a difference. What would you like to add to something like that, Jeff, when it comes from your point of view going forward?
Well, I mean, it's just a mindset. What we provide is a critical service to medical device developers and manufacturers. And it's just a privilege to be in this field with such innovators and with new devices that are being developed every day, as Nora had mentioned, in the biologic side and the tissue space and rehabilitative medicine. So basically, with each of our areas of expertise, we are always pushing the envelope because there's always new materials and products that are being brought to the market, and how within our respective services that we offer, how do we best process or validate that product or determine for what we do with sterilization, what is the optimal sterilization modality for this given product, knowing our background and working with similar materials. So for me, this is just a starting point. All of our companies represented here are in our respective areas of expertise. We're pushing the envelope, and it's exciting because we're constantly pushing ourselves outside the comfort zone.
One last question. This one goes for you, Roy. It's not going to be in Spanish.
Okay.
Don't worry. We'll translate
muchas
it
gracias.
later. We'll translate it later. Okay, we did the announcement. Groundbreaking news. Excellent. I love it. Today, there's no precedence. First time. What's the next step?
So the next step is really building our own organizations together, right? The quote you heard earlier is, "A rising tide lifts all ships." And that's what we intend to create for each other. It's a collaborative organization, right? How do we make each of us better at what we do? Because ultimately, as Nora said, it's about protecting, preserving, restoring life.
And at the end of the day, it's about that. Thank you so much. Very
Thank you.
enlightening. I love anything that you would want to add that maybe I did not ask. Any point that is relevant, Brent?
Yeah, I was just been struck by the number of companies around here that are actually looking for support to develop new products. I mean, there are hundreds of companies trying to come out with the next better way to treat disease, illness, injury. And I think that us as a group with a smooth path from step one to the end will help bring these companies, these new ideas, this innovation to the market that much sooner, and to your point, improve overall health and opportunities for everybody.
You're paving the way. Thank you so much. I really appreciate today's interview, guys. Thank you
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Continue with the news and brews at the IME West.